All right, so today we're going to talk a little bit about one of the most common conditions that we really see here at Total Performance, and that is looking at low back pain. One of the most common tissues that really cause low back pain, and especially if we're having more of that radiating pain into the hip or down into the legs, is that lumbar disc. The disc is essentially a ball of fluid with 20 different layers of ligaments wrapped around it. Now, if we have a lot of that pressure from that ball of fluid pushing into the ligaments, then now we can start having a little bit of irritation in those ligaments. The two main things that cause that pressure out into the ligaments is a lot of repetitive bending and also compression. Now, of course, we can also have repetitive compression with bending, which is really common with a lot of our movements. And as you can see, that this is a little bit dramatic on this model, but it does cause that disc herniation to occur and can push out into the nerves, or it can also just cause some irritation right there in the ligaments themselves. So those are really the two main mechanisms that we really need to discuss on how we can address those from a treatment standpoint to help calm down the low back and then ultimately being able to build it back up. Now, when we look at trying to address low back pain and really a lot of other conditions in the office, I like to think about it almost like a sink. Pain can be kind of like a water overflowing out of a sink. Now, there are two primary ways to stop a sink from overflowing. The first one is to turn off the faucet. Now, that may be requiring us to change some of our activities or putting in more walk breaks, things like that if we're doing a lot of prolonged sitting. The other thing that we really need to do is figure out how to open up the drain. Most frequently, since a lot of flexion tends to cause some of this pain, some of this irritation in these tissues, a lot of times we have to start working into extension. The other thing we can look at is trying to work on minimizing compression and doing some exercises that help to work on decompressing the spine. Now, when we go through that will be largely with our breath and using our breath to create pressure to support the front side of the spine. So let's go ahead and look at some of those exercises.